What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 1 Team Builder, taking on Parrish and the Drug Dealer Delibirds in Week 1 of MWPA Season 8 Earth. This is one of 8, so there's not a ton of weeks to play with here, and every win is going to count. Let's run through Parrish's team here. He has Corviknight, Rotom Mow, Seismitoad, Bisharp, Dracozolt, Rillaboom, Barbaracle, Xatu, Flygon, Frostlass, and Sigilyph. Worthy to note that the Rillaboom does not have access to grassy terrain, and the Dracozolt does not have access to Sand Rush. Priority options, he's got the Bisharp with Sucker Punch and the Rillaboom with Sucker Punch. Technically Frostlass with Ice Shard too, but nobody really runs that. Hazard setting in the Seismitoad with Rocks, Bisharp with Rocks, Barbaracle with Rocks, and Frostlass with Spikes, I think. And then I'm not sure what lost defog and what kept defog, so I just listed everything that I knew from beforehand. His removal options are Corviknight, Rotom, Xatu, Flygon, and Sigilyph, all with defog. 4 times weaknesses is the Seismitoad to Grass, which he does have very well covered on this team. The Bisharp to Fighting, the Barbaracle also to Grass, so it's useful coverage still. I think I am covering it technically. And then Flygon to Ice, which is not as well covered. In fact, there are 3 Ice resists on this team, but everything else, like, there's a lot of Ice weaknesses. Okay, so the Ice resists are Bisharp, Barbaracle, and Frostlass, but Rotom, Dracozolt, Rillaboom, Xatu, Sigilyph, and Flygon are all weak to Ice. So Ice is amazing coverage this game, and I may regret not bringing the Weavile. I'm not sure if I just want to change my mind and just go with a banded Weavile over the conch set that I have. But the conch set that I have is really useful at checking Rotom. Huh. It's not really that useful because I've got Flapple for that as well. You know, I really liked my conch set, but I'm actually going to replace it. So we'll build a Weavile set together. I had an AV conch for this matchup with a lot of priority options, but it's not really that relevant. It was pretty much only to take out Flygon, but Weavile would do the same sort of thing. And looking at it now, I definitely overlooked that. Weavile is like 100% the better option here. So we will build a Weavile set together at the end of this, and I will just talk about the other 5. Piloswine is up first here with Rocks, Earthquake, Ice Crash, and Ice Shard. Very standard physically defensive Piloswine. It can take on the Dracozolt, is the main idea, is that it takes on the Dracozolt really, really well, actually. I am questioning whether Dracozolt even comes just because of this. It is one of the better ways to deal with Togekiss. This team doesn't actually have a great way of dealing with Togekiss outside of like really offensive Frostlass, but Frostlass doesn't possess the best offensive typing. Sorry, not offensive typing, offensive stats. Corviknight as well could be the same thing. Because I'm not sure of what gets like removal options on his team, I'm going with the Rocks here. Rocks are pretty valuable in this matchup because I'm not sure about the removal, and that's the only thing. Xatu could obviously Magic Bounce them back, but I am a Piloswine, so I kind of threaten out the Xatu, and I never really have to be put in a position like that because I can always Icicle Crash on like the tremendous amount of weaknesses on this team. Keep in mind that 2 of the Ice resists on this team are weak to Earthquake from Piloswine, so Piloswine is very, very necessary in this game. Despite it being weak to Rotom, Seismitoad, Rillaboom, Barbaracle, Bisharp, I mean, it's weak to a lot of, all of those, and Corviknight, because of double steal. So it's weak to a lot of stuff, but it'll be good utility, just getting attacks off, revenge killing the Flygon, potentially as well. It's a great Flygon answer, so I'm definitely like keeping that around. Flapple is next. I'm bringing in a Guavaberry Ripen set. This is a very specially defensive check to the Rotom Mow, which I pretty much had no answers to. So this was my answer to Rotom Mow. It can potentially be an answer to a specially offensive Seismitoad, or even a physically offensive one, to be honest, because I 4 times resist water and I resist ground. It's a great defensive check for potentially... nope, that's about it. Pretty much Rotom. It's pretty much Rotom, and that's about it. I was thinking about a U-turn set, but Ripen plus a Guavaberry is really solid, and it boosts Acrobatics, which will help me 1v1 the Rillaboom. Rillaboom could just U-turn on me because it's faster, so I have to be really wary of that. I think Togekiss is probably going to be the likely Rillaboom answer most of the time, as well as a potential Aegislash. But U-turn myself, Grab Apple to deal with the Seismitoad and the Barbaracle. Acrobatics after that, and then Leech Seed just get some passive recovery off. I pretty much just like Leech Seed the Corviknight and then U-turn out. I'm not entirely sure if it's even going to run Brave Bird against me, so we'll look at that later. I do have a lot of flying weaknesses on this team. Actually, looking at it, maybe I should drop something for better flying resists, because my only flying resist on this team is Aegislash. So, oh, and Raichu, but Brave Bird Corviknight is definitely a giant problem, actually, looking at it. So we'll see if that comes. I may have to rely a lot more on Aegislash than I wanted to. Togekiss is next. I am running a speedy Togekiss with Fire Blast, Grass Knot, Air Slash, and Morning Sun. So Morning Sun, I talked about this in my draft recap. It does get Morning Sun rather than Roost, and this is what I have to rely on as recovery rather than Wish is like really wishy-washy in this game. And I'm running leftovers on a lot of Pokemon or like recovery options, especially on like Flapple with Leech Seed plus a Guavaberry Ripen. Ripen, if you don't know, doubles their effect. So my Guavaberry will actually restore 66% of my HP when I'm at 25% or less. So it'll boost me all the way back up to 25. So despite the berry nerfs, Ripen, like the super berry nerfs from 50% to 33%, Ripen actually means that this is even stronger than it was in Gen 7 on Flapple in particular. So I like that a lot, and I was running with it just because Hustle's really bad on the set that I want to bring this week, and Gluttony could have made sense as well. I just thought that Ripen made a little bit more sense because I feel like I'm going to be switching into Rotom many, many times. So Fire Blast on the Togekiss is there to catch the Corviknight. I don't really see a world where the Corviknight is going to outspeed me. It doesn't really make sense to bring Scarf Corviknight against me. It's just kind of bad in general. And I can switch Togekiss into quite a few things on this team. Again, it's a really good Rillaboom switch in. Just because of my natural Spadef, it can switch into Xatu and Sigilyph really effectively. I've got Grass Knot here to deal with Barbaracle, as well as the Seismitoad. I'm really scared of Barbaracle. And then Air Slash is just really good stab against pretty much the rest of the team. I can't touch Dracozolt, but Dracozolts might be scared of me having Dazzling Gleam. Or more likely, it's going to be Scarf Boltbeak, which is really easy to pivot into Piloswine on. I'm outspeeding Dracozolt with this speed investment, just in case I can get an Air Slash like flinch combo down on it later in the game. I'm not entirely sure. Leftovers will definitely help in this one. Max HP, a little bit of special attack. Aegislash is next. I am running SD 2 attacks with King's Shield. So Shadow Claw and Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword with SD is going to be able to absolutely smack the Corviknight. I am slower than it, so if it is a Power Trip Bulk Up set, I will ignore the defense boost from Bulk Up, and I will be in shield form when it is clicking Power Trip. So I like that a lot. This is actually really effective against Bisharp as well, because I'm slower than the Bisharp. Unless he's a minus speed Bisharp for some reason, then I'm getting my King Shield off first. I can, potentially do something there. Actually, King Shield against Bisharp is really dangerous, and I should not do that because I will give it a Defiant boost and then die the next turn. But Sacred Sword is there for the Bisharp. Outside of that, there are 0 Ghost Resists. Besides the Bisharp, there are no other Ghost Resists on this team, so Shadow Claw is very spammable against the rest of the team. In fact, Xatu, Sigilyph, and Froslass are all weak to Shadow Claw. Just very spammable move, and King Shield is super easy to use against something like a Flygon, or a Dracozolt, for example. It's a little bit of a 50-50 risk against mons like Barbaracle that could Shell Smash on me, or even the Flygon that could Dragon Dance, but it's a little bit of safety, and it gets me some Leftovers recovery, which I think is super helpful here. I was debating a Specs Aegislash, which I still think could be okay, but with Weavile around, once I put Weavile on the team, this is going to get a lot better. So I'm just max HP, max attack. Arcanine is second to last here with a Shuka Berry set. Shuka is there so that I can take on a Seismitoad, potentially, or a Flygon. In theory, I could take on either of them, take a hit I'm a Sunny Day set with Solar Beam, so that'll help me take on the Seismitoad, especially if it's a manual Rain Dance set. I can just deny the Swift Swim priority there and get up a Sunny Day, which is mainly there for Solar Beam, as well as my Morning Sun Healing. It'll up my Morning Sun Healing to 75% instead of 50, which is pretty significant against most of this team. This is my main answer to the Corviknight. I can kind of burn it down with Fire Blast. Fire Blast should two-shot a specially defensive Corviknight with my special attack investment, and it's very effective in the Sun. The damage difference between Flamethrower and Fire Blast on both Togekiss and Arcanine was very much worth the swap. Dracozolt obviously walls this, so I do have to keep Piloswine relatively healthy. This can also switch into Rillaboom. I actually don't know if Rillaboom gets any rock coverage, so let's look it up together. I don't believe it does. Gets Earthquake, though. Superpower. High horsepower. Yeah, so, like, Rillaboom is pretty much hard-walled by Togekiss, looking at this set. I didn't know that it gets Fake Out. That's good to know. It's one of the few knockoff users in this. It can set manual terrain for itself, I guess. Yep, it gets absolutely nothing that would be super effective against Togekiss. The best thing that it has is like normal coverage to hit Togekiss with. So Togekiss is probably one of the best Rillaboom answers in the game, looking at it, or like acrobatics. Either way, we are looking for Weavile. And we're just going to run Choice Band, because Choice Band is super solid here. It doesn't get knockoff in this gen, unfortunately. Ice Cold Crash, and we'll run Ice Shard, and Low Kick. And that is Low Kick or Low Sweep? No, I don't want to deal with, I don't want to Low Sweep Bisharp. That would be really bad. Unless it doesn't live. Let's calc it together. I love live editing. Weavile, Choice Band, Bisharp, Swords Dance, Low Kick, Low Sweep, Chople. So, if it's Chople, Low Sweep's not going to kill, and I will die every time. But I'll give it the Defiant Boost, which means that I will always die. And Low Kick is still a roll to kill if I'm Jolly. Do I have to be Jolly? Frostlass? Ooh. Yep, I just barely have to be Jolly, actually. So I'll go with Low Kick. I barely have to be Jolly. I think it's 136 will do it. Yep, 136 is exactly what I needed. And there's the Weavile done. So Weavile is outspeeding Frostlass, which is the fastest mon on Parrish's team. And Banded Icicle Crash is very effective against this team. How much does it do to Bisharp? That's not bad damage at all. I don't have the best switch-ins to Bisharp, to be fair. But luckily Bisharp doesn't get knockoff in this gen, so I can go into Arcanine reasonably safely on it, and then outspeed it, although Sucker Punch plus Iron Head might... Excuse me, Sucker Punch plus Iron Head might be a little bit sus. Yeah, you're looking at like 70 damage, and that's if rocks aren't up. If rocks are up, then I probably die to Iron Head plus Sucker Punch. So, worthy to note there. Fire Blast is definitely just going to roast this thing. It kind of has to choose between... Yeah, I'm offensive too. It has to choose between like Chople and Akka. I think Chople's a little bit better on it because I've got Weavile, Aegislash, Conk. As well as like Orbeetle could body press it before it can... and then it's because Orbeetle's faster, right? So Orbeetle could body press it. I think Bisharp definitely comes. It's one of his only ways of dealing with Shedinja. This team doesn't really get a lot of good ways to hit a Shedinja. In mons like Dracozolt, like can't touch it. I think Rillaboom is probably gonna want Sucker Punch for that, or like I don't know. Actually, it gets knockoff, right? So knockoff for like a boost Shedinja would be really solid. Barbarical, I'm not sure can even hit Shedinja. It may get like Brutal Swing or something. But I'm not bringing Shedinja because of Xatu and Sigilyph. I think that's a little bit too dangerous with 3 flying types on this team and a Frostlass. So while some mons are completely hard-walled by it, like Dracozolt, I don't think can even touch it, but other mons are not. So that is the team. Really long explanation, and I built the Weavile set in the team builder. This is going to be a fun one. I'm really excited to kick off the season. I hope we can start off with a win. If we don't, not a big deal, but it is only 8 weeks, so that will put us pretty far behind in the standings. So I would really like a win here. That is going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and I will see you guys for the match.